Welcome everybody to season 4, episode 21 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 podcast. We got the show rolling today and looking forward to another great conversation. Of course, let me go ahead and introduce everyone that is in the building today. Starting off with little big bro Yusuf T in the back on the ones and twos as always. Of course, you got myself, Omar T, hosting the show. And then our guests for today is Ali, Hassan, and Mahmoud. Muhiesen, I don't want to say it wrong. Muhiesen. All right, go ahead and give them a round of applause. I didn't even look at your last name before that. I probably should have practiced it before the show, but it's all right. We're going to call you Mahmoud and Ali for the day. Looking forward to these young fellas right here who are a couple Muslim students who are also going to be running for the Michigan Democratic Party. So kudos to these guys right here. And they wanted to come on the show to share their 2 cents, not just about running and things like that, but also about some of the stuff that's happening currently in the United States of America, specifically in the state of Michigan. There's a lot of stuff happening out there in the world, in our state, in our states, in our cities, in our country that you know they're gonna share their 2 cents about that. I think it's very important. But before we do any of that, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. If you want to check out all those platforms on one website, the website is ozmedia313.com. That's our website. You can go on there. You can follow us on all of our socials. You can check out this episode and some of the other things that we got going on at Oz Media. Shout out to our sponsors for this show: Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wing Fellas, Juice Box, Melika Kebab, Jabed Coffee House, and Royal Kebab. Yusuf, let's give a shout out to Wing Fellas. If you're looking for some great wings, you know, our great friends over there at Wing Fellas will get you taken care of. So shout out to Wing Fellas, and we're going to get the show rolling. Do you know what goes perfect with the big game or your favorite TV show? Some deliciously tender wings from Wing Fellas. Wing Fellas Restaurant is home to the best wings in Michigan. With over 20 different sauces and seasonings to choose from, you can make sure every wing order you make caters to your taste buds. They have 7 different locations in Michigan. They have a location in Dearborn, Southfield, Detroit, Belleville, Wyandotte, Flint, and Taylor. So no matter where you are at in the state, Wing Fellas is your one-stop shop for some fall-off-the-bone wings. Also, be sure to visit them at their website at thewingfellas.com. All right. We're ready to get it rolling. I'm sorry. We're ready to get back and get it rolling. Like I said, you know, today we got brother Mahmoud right here to the left of me. And then next to him, we got brother Ali, just so you know who's who. And with that said, brother Mahmoud, we can start off with you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. What is it that you do? Anything for get the audience to know you a little better before, we start diving into these questions.
I'm a recent graduate from Wayne State University, where I graduated with a bachelor's in philosophy, and I'm doing my master's at UMich Dearborn in marketing and possibly trying to do a dual major with public policy, but they don't offer a dual major, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Inshallah, you find a way to still get that done maybe eventually,
Yeah. I'm in talks with the dean, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
So he's supportive. He's saying just take the classes, then at the end
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Good guy. See, that's how you make things happen for your students. How about you, Ali? Talk to us, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm still a student at Wayne State University. I'm double majoring in philosophy and accounting.
Nice. Allah barak fik, man. Inshallah ya'eenakum. Keep up the great work. You know what I'm saying? I already had a nice little conversation with these guys beforehand. And, they got they are what we ask for when we say, like, yo, we need the youth to step up. These guys are stepping up right here. And so, and I'm sorry, I know you guys might be like, man, we're not the youth no more. Yes, you are. Just gonna let you know. So at the end of the day, these are the guys that you want to see, using their voice for our communities. So kudos to these guys. But you're not going to probably agree with a lot of the things that they say today. So I'm looking forward to that, though. And that's why we have people here. I was telling Ali this beforehand. We like to open this up for people to come on here and say what they have to say. And, as, the media, we just trying to present that to you. And then if you don't agree with it, reach out to us. Maybe we'll have you come on and talk about what you have to say. So, Ali, I'm going to start off with you. And it's the basic question of what inspired you guys to want to run for the Michigan Democratic Party, and why Democrat, by the way?
To be quite honest with you, the number one thing that really pushed us to this position, and I think Mahmoud can answer in a different way too, but is because we thought that the people that were in these spaces, from our experience, me and Mahmoud are not like veteran politicians, or we haven't been doing this for years along. People have been doing it, even other students have been doing it longer than us. We've only been like recently trying to involve ourselves as much as possible, but we mainly did it because we saw that the people that were in these spaces who were representing us as the Muslim voice, or like the Palestinian voice, or in different situations, they were not the people that you would want in those positions. They were not exemplifying the values that we had during the time where we were in the encampments, or the values that me and Mahmoud have as Muslimin. So we didn't do it because we wanted to. It's almost as if we were pushed into these positions because we found it necessary. And primarily the only reason that we were in the Democratic Party and not in the Republican Party, it's not to say that we wouldn't dip our toes in both to push for our communities. The reason that we're in the Democratic Party was because there was already a foundation there, and also because it was just easier to get into running in the MDP space. We looked into the Republican Party space. It was just a little bit more difficult because of various reasons. But to say that it's just focused towards the Democratic Party, that's not what it is. We're Muslimin, and this is how the opposition works as well. The opposition works in the same way. They don't play ads to destroy the pro-Palestinian voice, specifically saying that they're anti-Zionist. They'll manipulate their strategies to make it seem like, oh, they're worse on healthcare, or they're worse on gun control, whatever it may be. That's how they'll do it. And for us, it was like, we have to play smarter. It's not just the Democratic Party. It's not just the Democrats. We also have to enter into these spaces with the Republicans as well.
I like that. Great response. You want to add on to that?
Yeah, essentially, same thing. But I would say the Democratic Party is more welcoming, and not in like a good way, in more of a condescending way, where it's like, oh, Arab guy, come sit here.
Yeah.
You know, the Republican like hates you straight up. So, like he said, I don't like have to be careful how I say it, but it's easier to like manipulate a Democrat as opposed to a Republican, because they have to put on a face that they like you. So they have to allow you to do certain things or be okay with it. And then afterwards, there's different intent. The same thing.
That's another great response right there, man. I actually understand what you're saying, and I think a lot of people do understand and agree with what you're saying as well. So, good points right there. And so good luck to both of you, inshallah. You guys both get positions and that you both are running for. So, but it's not easy for Muslims to run. Never easy for Muslims, especially Muslim students. So what unique challenges do you face when entering the political arena, and how are you navigating through those challenges? I'll start off with you on this one. We're going to just keep going back and forth. We'll start off with.
The politicians are a lot like salesmen. Like you can't trust nothing they say, and they're so weird. Wallah, they're so weird.
Yeah.
There's this one lady. Anytime she would talk to us, I'm not gonna say who she is, but we would say it's a therapy session. but that's the only.
She tells you everything you like to hear, huh?
Yeah, and it's like, it's so weird. It's like very uncomfortable. But it's that to me was the hardest part, like dealing with the fakeness. You say something, then it becomes completely something else. Like there's this guy named Al Williams who's running for state chair, and he was saying that regarding the heavy influence Zionism has on the Democratic Party, he said that we can't merely act in the interest of Zionists, because this is, after all, not the Jewish party, it's a Democratic Party. And he goes on to say, like, the same way we can't act in full support of the union only, because this is not the Labour Party, this is Democrat. And he says that about every demographic, and that's his whole spiel. He was like on a forum or podcast or whatever, where he said that, and then the next day it's like all over like local media and like state media that Al Williams, anti-Semite, when one of his best friends, like Isaac Robinson, who I'm pretty sure is Jewish,
Yeah.
and his biggest endorsement is from MI Solidarity, which is run by a Jewish guy, and it's like that all that stuff is not there, but his little statement is, and that's very common, not just in public, but even in their inner circles, where something you say like will be held against you on purpose. Like it's not yani, oh wow, this guy believes that. No, they're waiting for a slip up. So it's very, very fake environment.
Yeah. Scary.
Yeah.
But, may Allah continue to guide you both. You know what I mean? It's not easy. And as long as you have Allah behind you, that's all that matters, man. What would you say are some of the toughest navigations throughout this journey?
No, I think Mahmoud's hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what it is, mainly for us at least. There's a lot of factors, but one thing I've definitely noticed was that you will also receive opposition from people that you interpreted as friends as well. So that's what we thought. And even when we think we're criticizing them in like a respectful manner or whatever, maybe calling them out, they don't handle that well for some reason. We're not doing it so that we want to get an upper hand against you. We're doing it because these are genuine concerns. If we're running and our community has genuine concerns, they should be able to present it to us.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's a great point too. And, those are things that are important, and that's why you guys are running. That's why you guys are trying to put yourselves in these positions so that you can be the voice for our community. So going back to you, Ali, how do you plan to engage with the Muslim community in Michigan, and what issues are most important to them?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
So for us, at least, I would like to say that the students are a big impact as students, even Muslim students, because historically, students have led a lot of initiatives, whether it's within the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or even within like other civil rights movements or any type of movements. The students are a big voice for us because they have truly, like for us, we've seen that students have taught us, like through the encampments, like the vigor, the honor Muslims should have in certain spaces, because the previous generations we've seen after 9/11, they've kind of gotten scared. But now for us, there's a new generation, which is like the generation after October 7th.
Yeah.
And that is, for us, generation after October 7th, it's showing a different face. So the Muslim students and the students after that, that's a big part of our community. And then also the community that hasn't really been tapped into, like the masjid going community, something that me and Mahmoud were really working on was during the encampment, talking to masajid.
Yeah.
Talking to masajid, seeing how masajid are going to work on these different initiatives. And one organization we've seen is doing this very, very well. And they've been very supportive of us as well. And to the second point, what initiatives do we want to present the most in terms of what we're running for? It's quite a long list of things. So before we, got into the Michigan Democratic Party space, Mahmoud can talk about this a little bit more because he's also on the resolutions committee. I was looking at the platform. We were looking at the platform that the Michigan Democratic Party has. And you'll see within the Michigan Democratic Party platform, it talks about non-discrimination, it talks about torturing of prisoners, and it talks about like the Flint water crisis, amongst other things. So these are community issues. Recently, I was at AMS and they were giving a announcement on the torturing of prisoners in Iraq, and this organization who's supporting for them to not be executed. And then even within the United States, Muslim prisoners who are wrongfully imprisoned, Dr. Afia Siddiqui, who got 1.5 million petitions. And when the petitions were presented to Joe Biden 20 minutes before he was supposed to get out of office to accept the clemency, he didn't accept them. And he accepted the clemency for his family. So these issues for Muslims, this is something that we recently started to working on as well. A working definition for Islamophobia. Why is there no working definition of Islamophobia? There's a non-legally binding working definition for anti-Semitism. So for us, these things, like, they may seem like there's something small, but they're in the long run, they'll be very, very important.
Yeah.
We haven't even established groundwork. If you look at the Michigan Democratic Party caucuses, there's no Muslim caucus. There's a Bengali caucus, there's a Yemeni caucus, there's a cannabis caucus, there's a Jewish caucus. There is no Muslim caucus. There's a Pakistani caucus. There's an Arab caucus. Where's the Muslim caucus? And why are we so divided? One thing is very important is that we need to come together on issues that are very clear cut in the deen. And there's actually a term for it. It's slipping my mind right now. Ma'lum min ad-din bid-darura. What is known in the deen, what is vastly known in the deen by necessity. These are not things that are argued upon. So these issues, very important to us. I know I brought up water a little bit too. I'm going on a rant a little bit, but the Flint water crisis is important. Water is a necessity. Different issues, even the South End, all the air pollution, all these things need to be recognized. There's not one issue, there's so many issues. But for us, laying the foundational work.
You want to add on to that?
Yeah, Yani, just to touch on some of the points he said, there's a lot of things that are overlooked, especially with the Flint water crisis. People forget, like, thousands of people died from the Flint water crisis. And the Democratic Party in particular, like, I don't want to say, like, washed it away. I don't know what the term would be. Swept it under the rug. Dana Nessel dropped, like, stopped, like, looking into it. Like, they just completely shut down the investigation. And these are the same people who are actively pursuing, like, to arrest students. And even with that, like, with the arrest of students, because I won the resolution committee for the MDP, and I'm on there, a lady presented a resolution to urge Dana Nessel to stop pursuing students for charges. And they rejected the resolution. I think me and like only 3 other people voted for it. I'm not sure what the numbers were exactly, but they rejected the resolution on the basis of they don't want to go against their own and Dana Nessel. Meaning, if Dana Nessel decides to give them the death penalty but still calls herself a Democrat, they wouldn't go against that because she's a Democrat. So it's there's so much things that are just like completely corrupted, and it's affecting the Muslims directly. Whether it's corrupted or just the Muslims haven't got up to do anything, people don't understand. He mentioned the working definition for Islamophobia. At Wayne State University, a lady came calling Allah Azza wa Jal, wa'adhu billah, a transgender, and mocking Yunus alayhi salam. And she claimed to be a Muslim. And she was invited to the university by the university to say these things to non-Muslims, to sort of try to give this vision that Islam is this like ultra liberal religion. When we went to or not me, but when they addressed this to the university said this is not a form of Islamophobia because anyone can interpret their religion as they please, and we have to accept it as I don't know, maybe standpoint theory. I don't even know, because it's not the normative stance, so it can't be academic.
Viewpoint bias.
Yeah, there's a huge viewpoint bias. If they want to say that, like, if they accept that as a definition, and then someone comes and says what ISIS is doing, what Daesh is doing, is synonymous with what Islam is. Academically, according to Wayne State University, because now they want to accept that definition of Islamophobia, we can't say nothing. We have to accept that, yep, sure, it is. Someone kills in the name of Islam, yeah, sure, it is. Then becomes so easy to vilify Muslims and attack Muslims. And then these are things that Muslims are not engaging in. And they have to be actively engaging in them.
Go ahead and give these guys a round of applause. Nice way to start off the conversation. We're going to take a quick break and give a shout out to our next sponsor, which is going to be Royal Kebab. Shout out to Royal Kebab and Hamtramck. We appreciate them and their support, and then we're going to keep things rolling. So shout out to Royal Kebab. Guess who's back? Back again. Royal Kebab is back. Tell a friend. Yes, that is right. The restaurant that you all have been dying for to open back up is officially back operating in Hamtramck. Royal Kebab offers the same mouth-watering Middle Eastern dishes as their sister company, Malakir Kebab. You can order their lamb over rice, combo platters, shish platters, shawarma sandwiches or plates, fattoush and tabbouleh salads, all at the newly renovated Royal Kebab restaurant located on Kniff Street in Hamtramck, Michigan. So be sure to check out their website, royalkebab.com, before you make your next order and see why so many people have been raving about this restaurant. All right, we're officially back, and this is an important question because I feel like this is more of a current events question. This affects right now, and so as you know, there's a right now as we speak, there's this ongoing. We're talking about Muslims, by the way, the people who voted for Trump, who are defending themselves still even after all of the executive orders that have been put into place and all these quote unquote plans that the Republican Party has, for Gaza and for everything else, that are still standing up with them, obviously saying that they don't agree with them, but still standing up with them. And then there are those Democratic people who are laughing, saying, ha, 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 we told you so, this is what y'all get, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, these are Muslim people going at it with each other. It's not even non-Muslims. So let's focus on the Muslim people. So with that said, what do you have to say to those people?
To the ones that are pointing at the...
What do you have to say to the overall situation, by the way?
I would have to say, the way things played out, like before that, all the executive orders came in and whatnot, what do you expect? I mean, Kamala Harris was bringing like Eminem and all these different like celebrities on stage in Detroit with her. And Trump brought these community leaders on stage who work in grassroots efforts on his stage. And we were told that the Republican Party is for the rich and the Democrat Party is for the poor, and they're trying to help the poor, they're for the community. And that just gave a completely twisted image. So I think that alone is problematic on the Democrat side. To those who were saying you should vote for Kamala and you should back the Democrats, despite what happened the past year and a half, I think to a certain extent, those people like Azza. Like wholeheartedly, those people like Azza, because how can someone openly push a genocide and you still vote for them? And when they went to, people protested at the first rally she did at the airport, and she said, shut up. They said, hey, you're killing our people. And she said, shut up. And then people said, yes, ma'am, we'll vote for you anyways. What is this, wallah? This is no Azza. Am I a Republican? No. But do I understand why people went to vote for Trump? 100%. Even despite the executive orders that came after, to them, that's not on them. They're saying we were Democrats for 20, 30 years, and then you guys attacked us. And it wasn't just in Gaza. I think what happened with Gaza was it opened a lot of Muslims' eyes to what's happening in the Middle East at the hands of what has been mostly democratic administrations, like what Obama did in Libya, Yemen, the bombings of Syria that took place, Afghanistan, all these different places. The Muslims opened their eyes to them. I think maybe they were squinting a little bit when they looked at Trump, but Trump, he's done some stuff too. They both have blood on their hands. But in the heat of the moment, you cannot let Kamala Harris or Biden win the election after what's happened. And I think those who said so, they don't have Azza.
How about now? Right now where we currently stand, with the executive orders and the people that are, like I said, are laughing. The Democratic Party who is laughing, saying, we told you so. And then there's the Republicans who are still standing behind. What are your overall thoughts on just the whole current state of this situation?
I don't think Muslimin are necessarily Democratic or Republican in nature. We've seen a lot of Democrat Muslims, Democrat first and then Muslims. And we need to see more Muslims and then the political side after. And I think that just supporting anyone blindly, where does this, Islam doesn't teach us this at all. We're supposed to be critical of these people. And I think going back and forth, and this isn't a really unity. We should be in each space. We should be in the Republican side and we should be in the Democratic side. And even after the executive orders, I don't think people, to be honest with you, I wasn't shocked about what Trump was going to do. Trump historically has been like that. The Democrats have also been like that. And to bring on to his point that Kamala Harris was bringing Eminem, she also brought in the Cheneys. She wanted to win the Muslim vote. Does she not know what happened in 2001? What happened in Iraq? So, I mean, it's quite ridiculous. But feuding over this is not to show any strength in the Muslim community at all. No.
I love that. No, great points, and I appreciate y'all for sharing that. So, going back to like having representation in these political parties, why is it important to have diverse voices, including Muslim students, in political leadership roles? Maybe go back to you. Start on you.
I think there's two reasons. One, because the students are more grassroots, and the Muslim students, from what I've seen, are not willing to bend the knee. They're not willing to bend the knee at all. Like they're firm on their stances of morality, no matter who it's against at an institutional level. And this gives a new perspective. Quite honestly, if you're just like talking to yourself in a mirror, it's not really going to do much for you. And Muslim students, Muslims in general that are firm on their values, who are not going to be bought out, these things we need more of. And I think Mahmoud, maybe you can speak on this a little bit more, but we need people from all spectrums from the Muslim community to be there. We need older Muslims with their wisdom and hikmah to be there. We need younger Muslims with their passion to be there. We need Muslimin like this.
Go ahead, you want to add on to it?
Yeah, the same thing. The young people, they come with this zeal that the older generation sort of lost or isn't too focused on, and it's unfortunate. But it's also the young people, give you the idea of the college lifestyle. It's often depicted on TV and whatnot as this like school party, sort of like very odd scene, right? Which is, when I talk to people who are not like from our like or from my group of people, they live very similarly to what the college experience is supposed to look like. For Muslims, there's this sense of discipline that we have going into college, where we don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't do X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna go out there and party or try to get this girl or whatever. So my focus on my free time in between classes and whatnot ends up going to things like MSA stuff or SJP stuff or Muslim Coalition stuff, where sort of it's forced into this grassroots activism eventually, because those are the leaders within the Muslim community on campus. And I think it's important to continue to have those so the Muslims don't lose their way. Because as soon as the leadership fails, then they're going to start looking to other things. Like if there's no MSA, there's no SJP, there's no Muslim Coalition, just in those like small spaces. I know you were asking on the bigger picture, but they're going to look to other things. And we've seen it in politics too, because there wasn't much Muslims, or there wasn't much, I would say, the Muslim voice, because there's people who are Muslim, but they give off something else that is not the Muslim voice, like it's not representative of what the Muslim community thinks. And then we saw that manifest in Dearborn not too long ago, when all those books were in the schools. There was no Muslim representation, despite there being Muslims on in city council and whatnot. There was no Muslim representation that can authentically give what the Muslim concerns were. So I think eventually, if the Muslims don't wise up and become more engaged, you're going to see a generation that is very lost. Either very lost, or if they get engaged, a generation that's very, very powerful. Bidnillahi wa ta'ala.
Support matters. So who has been some of your biggest support systems during your campaign, and how has that influenced your guys' journeys? If there's any.
There's a lot of student support. And something that, I'm not going to lie, shocked me was the cross-campus support. So it's been really hard for, different campuses to work together on initiatives. But for this, it was relatively very easy. Everyone was on board. There was, one goal. Nobody disagreed. So that's just all these different campuses and student orgs. They were the main support. And I think one group that sort of went above and beyond, in my opinion, was I don't know if you heard Amin and Amin Action.
Yeah, he was talking to me about them.
Yeah, Amin, I think I wasn't close with the people who ran Amin as much as I am now, because of the support they offered. And it wasn't like the support of, we'll work together on this. When we talked to them about it, because we were looking for support, they said, you guys are interested? We said, yeah. They said, we weren't thinking about like the MDP wasn't a concern of ours, but whatever you guys do, just feel free to put our name next to it. And if you guys don't want to put our name next to it, take our name out. If you guys just want funding, let us know. We'll fund it. Whatever you guys need, just let us know. And they've gotten us meetings with like Al Williams, and they're telling us, you guys want to meet with Curtis. So they've been like this support, and then because of the support, subhanallah, groups attack them for it. There's certain things that were said about them that got back to us by certain individuals. We can't save it.
Yeah.
People who pawn themselves. I would say pawn themselves. And if they're watching this and someone gets mad, then الريشة على راسك. I don't know if you ever heard that.
Yeah, I have.
that phrase, but if they get mad, then they get mad. People who pawn themselves off as community leaders, but in actuality are these like people who are co-opting or trying to co-opt what we're doing to some extent, or that's the way me and a lot of students felt. Amin wasn't like that. They attacked Amin, and Amin just said, okay, and continue doing what they were doing. Amin didn't defend themselves when they were attacked, and the only time I saw Amin get hostile, or not hostile, but sort of defensive, was when the students were attacked.
Yep.
So it was like complete support, and it was, and they were, the brother Rex, may Allah bless him, was there at the encampment. I think 3 days.
3 days every night, almost every night.
Yeah. And he would, there was this like protest inside of a building at Wayne State where, there was a thought that it might turn into like another encampment. He was there. He pulled up. He didn't have to. And we took pictures and we sent it to him. Said, if you want to post on Amin, because we, it's like a registered org, and we don't know what we were doing, if it was illegal or whatever. But we were sending them to people to post because we wanted the buzz back, try to revive the student movement to the way it was in May. And he didn't ask for it. So a lot of people, because I don't know, I could go on a tangent of praising these brothers that run Amin, Allahumma barak, but they're really, really, really good brothers. They've been a heavy, heavy support.
No, that and they deserve their respect if they are out there actually supporting. So we do not mind that at all. And how about you? Do you want to add on to that?
I think that's perfect. Everything Mahmoud said is exactly how it is. Individually, the students are supporting each other, and I think Amin is supporting us as much as they can, and they really align with us on a lot of our values. So that's something that we really appreciate.
I love that. Give people their flowers while they're still here. Seriously, their support matters a lot. Yusuf, we're gonna move on to, believe it or not, we're already moving on to the final third of the show. So we're gonna give our last shout out and our last sponsor shout out. We're gonna go ahead and give this one to Holy Boli, our great friends over there at Holy Boli, and then we're gonna keep things rolling. So shout out to Holy Boli and Yusuf and everybody over there at Holy Boli. Holy moly, you have to try out Holy Boli. Holy Boli is your go-to destination for vibrant bowls and delicious sandwiches. Everything they serve is 100% fresh, and they have halal options as well. Their mouth-watering bowls are always packed to the top, so you're getting the most bang for your buck. They currently have 2 locations in Detroit, and you can check out all their food on their website at www.myholyboli.com. All right, so I guess just so people can know, what are some of your specific policies or initiatives that you would love to advocate for if you are elected?
I think you've already established some, but the one that we've been talking about a lot is like the Islamophobia one. There's definitely the ones that have to do with Palestine, arms embargoes. There's also sanctions that are put onto Syria, and for us as students, of course, like the charges that have to do with the University of Michigan students. But there's a wide variety. These things are very, very important to us. I think because Syria has also been a little bit overlooked, those sanctions are important. And Palestine is very close to our hearts, and the protesting and everything that was done specifically in relation to us, those things are very important. And the stuff that we see as Muslimin, like the imprisonment and stuff that we touched on briefly. And Mahmoud is already in the works on this, Yeah,
I got on the resolutions. I said this before, but on the resolutions committee, but I haven't been able to propose any resolutions. But we have a lot, so all the students that are involved, one of the things we did for the ones that were more involved was everyone just write down a few things of the most like for us it was like the Gaza student movement, and then everyone write those things that are at that length, but people just don't talk about them. So people wrote, people have different things. But for me personally, one thing that I maybe this might we could talk the Holy Land Five. I think they were wrongfully imprisoned. If you go like on social media, Nida Abu Bakr, she like runs down how her father was wrongfully imprisoned and all the people that worked with her. And I saw a video of her, and wallahi al-azim, it's quite sad that there was people who were helping her who then just disappeared because they were threatened by the FBI. So there's like certain stuff like that I feel like if you're a Muslim and you see that the circle you're in or what you're able to do, I think it's necessary for you to do, right? Because the Holy Land 5, it's not, it's 1,000 miles away, akhi, there's nothing we can do about it. Akhi, it's here, it's in the US, it's actively happening. Dr. Afia Siddiqui, actively happening. So those are like two things people don't talk about that are local, along with like the Flint water crisis and the students that are facing the same things. And then there was I forgot, I think it was HR 9445, the one that shuts down nonprofits.
Yeah, the one that they recently they came. It's in the I think it's in the Senate right now. Or it passed the House.
It passed the House, failed the Senate, I think.
They did it again.
See, like they're trying to come after 501c3s and the conniving people that wrote this. May Allah curse them. Wallah, may Allah curse them. Their goal is to come after the non-profits. But what they did was they first proposed something that has nothing. Yeah.
About military personnel.
Yeah,
like if military personnel, and then it like waters down, and then it gets to like terrorist organizations.
Like not just it goes like this.
Sorry, not water.
If I'm a U.S. citizen and I get held hostage, I don't have to pay my taxes because I was hostage.
Yep.
So essentially, that's the first part of the what they're trying to pass. The second part is that they're allowed to shut down 501c3s that support terrorist organizations. I think they're alluding to Hamas and what's happening over there. But the ramifications of that is that masajid who work with things like Islamic Relief, if this passes, can get shut down. Islamic Relief, because Islamic Relief, like for example, operates in places like Syria where there's Daesh presence, or places like Yemen where there's Houthis presence, or places like Gaza where there's Hamas presence. These are like organizations that are listed as terrorist organizations. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have to do something along the lines of getting the approval of these organizations to operate there. Islamic Relief as a whole can get shut down from by the US.
Yep.
This is absurd, and they're pushing this. They're pushing to pass it. Muslims see it. Yeah, if someone's held hostage, they don't have to pay their taxes. But that's what's being pushed. But the whole thing is very ill intent.
And the revenue department isn't gonna care. They're not gonna go that deep into it. They're not gonna go that deep into there. They're gonna say like masajid, somebody came there, give a khutbah, was anti-Zionist.
Yeah.
Gone.
Shut them down.
Shut them down.
Masjid. Shut the masjid down.
Shut the masjid down.
And this is one they're like near election time. Some masajid, we were doing like campaigning and stuff for the Abandoned Harris movement. Some masajid told us don't fly outside of our masjid because of the threat of this. Said you guys have stuff that's calling out Zionists, it's calling out politicians on your papers. We love the work you're doing, but please not in front of the masjid. We have a lot of stuff here. We have a lot of
and how do you feel about that as a person? Do you see what they're coming from, or do you get upset when they tell you that?
Both, but like, damn, push back a little. Push, like, you're the masjid. Like, if the masjid is not pushing back, it's problematic. Like, I don't know what happened to the Muslim community, but it has become so engraved in us that the masjid is, you go to the masjid, you go home. You go to the masjid, you go home. That's it, nothing else. You don't talk about your problems at the masjid. You don't do this, you don't do that. Your Islam is salah, siyam, zakat, and hajj. Maybe hajj and shahada, right? Because we don't know, what if they shut down the 501c3s, then what about all these organizations that take us to hajj, right? What happens? But they say this is your deen, and that's it. I don't know what, like, what happened to the Muslim community that we accepted this form of
Oppression.
not just oppression, like khiyana almost. Wallahi al-azim it is. It's like, Allahumma musta'an, but we just sat down completely. Yani khalas, we raised the white flags, do with us as you please. Muslim brothers and sisters in American jails, we're not going to say nothing. They're getting killed, we're not going to say nothing because they might shut down the 501c3. Let them start shutting down the masajid. Maybe that pushes people to get more involved. Well, I mean, it's quite sad. It's quite sad. Like, and then there's people that say what we're doing is wrong. And they say, like, voting is shirk, all this stuff. Ya akhi, if you believe what I'm doing is wrong and there's a right way to do it, more power to you, please do it. Please do it. But if all we've seen, like, is this, like, weird, like, support from, like, the masjid community, and I'm not dogging the masjid community. I love, yani, I grew up in the masajid, but they are not doing enough because it shouldn't be me sitting here. It should be someone who's a student of knowledge in Islam, who's studying at a masjid along with other universities, leading the movement.
Yep.
It should be a sheikh who's his main support group, someone who's an imam of the masjid. We shouldn't be talking about the organizations we started and Amin and all these different things. We should talk about this masjid and this masjid and this masjid, because the masajid are supposed to be our community center. They're supposed to be what the community engagement looks like. They are supposed to be involved in every center of what we're doing. Yani, it should all come through the masajid, not through Western secular universities.
Go and give that a round of applause. Yusuf, that definitely deserves it. Great response, sir. Could see that being a clip later on next week, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. I don't know if you gave answer to that. You did give an answer to that. So I guess, if we're going the back and forth thing, we're going to start off with you on this. I know you just make sure you don't want no water right quick or anything like that. Advice. So what advice would you give to other Muslim students who are considering a run for office or getting involved in politics? What would you tell them?
Just do it. Yani khalas, Nike basically.
Yeah.
But no, just do it. I think if you're a Muslim student and you're genuine and sincere in what you're doing, get involved. And then if there's people that are stopping you knowingly or unknowingly from what you're doing, like people who are in those spaces, like if it's like myself, and you feel like you have a better way to do it, push us aside. Go over our heads, get involved. I think even if it becomes competitive between the Muslims, I think that's just another plus side, more ambitious to do stuff. Yani, but if you want to get involved and there's certain institutes that are blocking you from getting involved, push them away. Not like push them, but push through them. Don't if someone tells you no, don't accept it. And we gotta be careful what we say, but not in legal terms, right? But if like a institute, let's say they come to the organization we have, they say we want to join. We say, oh no, we're out of seats or whatever. We don't have the capacity to allow another person. Do it on your own. Start get your own group. Start something your own. Don't accept that as khalas, as defeat. Do it your own. That's what happened with us, literally, quite literally, with the Muslim Coalition.
Yeah.
Ali, what are your thoughts, man? What advice would you give?
So, I mean, two sides. I think I have a little bit of a different opinion than Mahmoud on this. But one thing I will say is that we do need more Muslims who are willing to uphold their values in these spaces. We do. This is a necessity. And we do need, and we've seen it more from the students than we have from other people. So one thing I will say is that be very, very careful and have the right advice around you. To be quite honest with you, politics, from what I've been noticing, it's very difficult. It's not in the sense that it's difficult to work into. You should start your own organization, work independently if you can. But the thing is, when you get into it, it becomes a little bit bearing. You start thinking about these things at night. So I would tell people most of the time, like, I do it, but if there was somebody better than me, I wish they were there.
I like that. And I mean, because that's a way of like still trying to include someone that is representative of who you are and what your beliefs in, but at the same time you're at least understanding what your strengths are as a person. I think that's the biggest thing, is people need to know what they are good at and what they're not good at. I think once you really master that about yourself, that's when you hit your peak, and be able to do what you're supposed to do. Because sometimes people are, I mean, not sometimes, a lot of times people are better at doing something than you are. So, open a door for them,
Yep.
help them, assist them. That's enough. That's enough. You don't have to necessarily be the person in the front. Sometimes it's okay to take a back seat as long as you are in the back seat of a car that's driving in the same direction that you're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? So going off of that, how do you envision the role of young Muslim leaders in shaping the future of just any party, or just in general the elected officials in the United States of America? What is your envision? What do you see in the future, inshallah?
So students, and specifically the youth, and whether they're Muslim or not, but students themselves, they always have more vigor, they always have more zeal, they always have more passion. And when you add this aspect of Muslim students, Muslim first, before anything else, Muslim first, and when you add these things into these spheres, you have a genuine voice. You have a genuine voice, because these people are not doing it because they have something, they want this type of clout. We're not here for clout. We have busy lives. We work, we study, and we work, and then we run organizations. And then on top of that, we're trying to do whatever we can for our community, wherever we can. And really, there needs to be, I keep emphasizing this, more Muslim voices who stand on our values, who actually genuinely care about the community, actually genuinely care about human beings, who genuinely care about human beings, whether they're Muslim or not Muslim. This is why we brought up the Flint water crisis. This is important to us because we live here. These things are important to us. And I think that, from these types of values and from these different things, hopefully we wish to be the teachers. We wish to teach. As Muslims, we are teachers of mankind. Rasulullah ﷺ came and taught us. He taught us what our ethics should be. And we as Muslimin, we are now teaching. We are not sheep. We are shepherds. We are not sheep. We are shepherds. And this is something that, we, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, Muslimin should first emphasize on themselves. Me, myself, Ali Hassan, first and foremost. And then to be the individuals who even non-Muslims look to.
You want to add on to that?
Yeah.
The future, what do you envision?
Yeah, I took it more of like a literally what's the plan? I think for me, I want it to end where it's we have some sort of system where it's organically Muslims are getting involved in all aspects of civil engagement, in all aspects, whether it's charity work, volunteering, or activism or political engagement. There's some sort of system that we have in place where it's organically having the Muslims engage in a matter that is befitting to our deen and pleases Allah Azza wa Jal. So sort of a more God-centric way of things are happening right now, and in a more systematic, organized way. So that's our plan, inshallah ta'ala. Or my plan. We discussed this at length a lot of times. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And like he said, we are not the sheep, we are the shepherd. Simple as that.
Go ahead and give these guys a round of applause, Yusuf, if you can. First of all, kudos to you guys. Thank you guys. Before you guys come up with the final word, final comment, final statement that you would like to make, and how can people vote for you guys? Where can they vote for you guys? Tell us a little bit more about that. Just want to let people know again, this was season 4, episode 21 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 podcast, Voices of Change, Muslim Students in Michigan Politics. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. And you can find all those platforms on our website at ozmedia313.com. Shout out to the sponsors of the show, Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Juice Box, Malika Kebab, Jabal Coffee House, and Royal Kebab. We appreciate them and all of their support. And we appreciate Ali and Mahmoud here today. Talk about two young guys who are very passionate about their community and doing what's right for the community. And so now this is a great chance to give out the final words and final comments. Again, please try to include how can people support you, how can they vote for you, and what's next. Anything you'd like to add on. So Mahmoud, we can start off with you on this one.
So if you registered as a Democratic member by January 23, a month ago, you can come out February 22 and vote for us. It's at the Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit. There is an organization that's offering busing I guess go to our Instagram, Mask Pack, and message us for that information, and I'll send it out to you. If you missed the registration deadline,
Tough luck.
yeah. I know, but if you registered for the Hawaida campaign, then come on down. It still applies. But if you didn't register, don't register just yet. Wait a little bit. We might have something cooking up for August, inshallah ta'ala, the primaries. And maybe, inshallah ta'ala, as well as the Republican side. So register for both if you can. We'll see how it works. But my final words is, inshallah khair. If we're successful, then alhamdulillah. And if we're not, alhamdulillah. Success, it comes from Allah Azza wa Jal. It does not come from us. And if Allah Azza wa Jal does not allow us to be successful, then we still say alhamdulillah. And we leave it all to Allah Azza wa Jal. We praise Him before success, and we praise Him after. We praise Him if it doesn't come, and we praise Him if it comes.
Yeah, I think Mahmoud already told everything. February 22nd, Saturday. People should come if they're a registered Democrat. I think it starts at 9 a.m.
Yeah, but the voting for us, I think, starts at
12:30.
something like that.
Yeah, 12:30.
What time's it close?
It's quite long.
No, the voting for us closes at 3.
Closes at 3. Yeah.
But then if you're gonna vote for chair, don't vote for Curtis.
Don't.
I'll say that straight up. Oh, we can
He's a
go on a
Zionist.
tangent with
Yeah.
that. This one, wallah.
Yeah,
But,
don't vote for Curtis.
No, but I don't know who else is running for chair. I think just Al. If you want to vote for him, go ahead. But
Don't vote for Curtis.
Don't vote
Curtis,
for Curtis.
a Jewish insider, said things about supporting Israel. He's done tweets on his Twitter account supporting Israel. And not only that, when I kind of like pressed him to his face, he doesn't know what a Roman statute law is. So let's, in terms of literacy.
and he doubled down on it when we went to confront him about it. He doubled down on his. This was supposed to be final
Final words, but then we
It's all right. It's just important. It's important to add that in there because you don't want people to be guided the wrong way. You know what I mean?
And
But go ahead. Were you about to say something?
I say there's some people that are endorsing him. I don't
Okay.
want to name names.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're doing it. Allahu a'lam. But he is a Zionist. He was in support of the bombings of Gaza. We know that he was in support of it for at least a year and a month.
Yep.
Because that was his latest tweet was like in November, where he continued to support the killing of children in Gaza. Then I think in the past 2 months, this is what some people are trying to tell us, is that he had a change of heart. Now he loves Palestine. Subhanallah. You know how like this is something a Muslim told me, and he's witness to it. And uqsum billah, I'm not lying. They told me that Curtis has never told a lie in his life. When I was saying he's a Zionist, why are you guys endorsing him? They told me he's the most honest person ever, and he has never told a lie in his life. And I thought it was like an exaggeration. I'm like, what do you mean he's never told a lie? They're like, not a single lie has he ever told.
And Mahmoud said it again, and then she doubled down.
Yeah,
on it.
she kept doubling it.
Never a lie? Yes, never a lie.
It was so bizarre. This is when I say like it's so weird. I was like, what is going
They
on?
idolize these people.
Yeah.
They
So-
genuinely idolize them.
I was like, imagine I tell you, Ali Hassan has never lied in his life. And you're like, not even a fib, not even as a joke. He's never told a lie. You'd think I'm crazy, but they're doing it with this guy who's supporting the bombings of Gaza. And
Allah Yastir. Ali, did you want to add on? I don't think you got a chance to pretty much close out your final word. Just anything you want to add on?
I think Muslims should divert themselves away from this capitalistic mindset, this liberal mindset. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. Verily, the deception of this world is but a mere enjoyment. I think if October 7th and the things that happened after that is not making you rise up for justice, then you need to do some very heavy, deep reflection. And I think this is the time that we as Muslims need to start working in each and every single space, whether it's media, police, whatever it is. I think for a long time, from the cultures that we're from, we undermine certain positions, but every space we need to be in. We need to empower our Muslims, and we need to empower our youth too. Yeah.
Again, kudos to these guys. Yusuf, if you want to give them one last round of applause. Jazakallah khair, both of you guys, for coming out here. This is why we're here. We love to have people come on here. I was telling you this, and getting you guys on the shows. And I just think it was important, especially at the timing. It's a good time for us to do something like this. And just know that we are here to support any kind of youth movement that we believe aligns with what it is that we are trying to do here as well, with just guiding people to, the right situations. So jazakallah khair, both of you, for coming on here today. We hope that, you guys both get the positions that you are running for. What specific position are you guys running for, by the way? I don't think we discussed that.
State
Central, yes.
Okay.
State Central Committee.
There you go. So shout out to Ali, shout out to Mahmoud. Make sure if you are registered already to go out and vote this Saturday. You said in the Renaissance Center around noon. You're saying the poll's going to open up. So go out there and vote. And there's others too. You guys want to let us know the other names that are also running as well?
Absolutely. From District 6, there's Jenna Sukkar, Abdurrahman Elder, and Hamza Sayyid. From District 12, there's Mahmoud Muhiesen, Muhammad Abul Inan, Jibril Abdul Rabbu, Anas Zidan, Nizmiya Abdul Rabbu, Zaina Jadallah, Inam Mustafa. And then from District 13, there's Nigel Ali Kearney. From District 8, there's Samha Amin, Hadith Amin, and Shahir Noor. Yeah, Shahir Noor. And that is all.
And District 11, Hisham al-Madani.
Yeah, District 11, Hisham al-Madani.
Kudos to you guys. Kudos to this is all young people, by the way.
Yeah, all students.
All students. So, they're coming out and they are standing behind their word, standing 2 feet tall. So I appreciate you all for doing this. Kudos to both of you guys and everyone else that's running. Inshallah, may Allah reward you guys and give you guys the position that you deserve. And we hope that you guys continue to do great work in the community. And so again, this was season 4, episode 21 of Motivate Me 313's podcast. We hope that you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you all next time.